This is for a 2002 1.8 liter Nissan Sentra, and it may also be applied to the model years 2000 to 2005. It may have a broader reach for just a generic application to most automobiles. This is how to remove a bubble from the cooling system. And the symptoms could be anything from when you accelerate or rev the engine, you can hear a splish splash sound as the coolant's forced into the heater core. And you may also have the symptoms of when you're during cold weather, when you stop at a traffic light and your heat starts to disappear and you're getting cold air through the vents. I am using the Eastwood coolant system filling kit. I'm also using an IR handheld temperature ranger. The fill kit claims to have any adapter to fit any car that's just about ever been made to service the cooling system. To do this service, the engine has to have cooled down for several hours to release any pressure that's in the radiator. Remove the radiator cap. Then find the cap in the kit that will fit your radiator. There's two ways that you can remove the bubble from the cooling system. There's the gravity feed method and the pressure method. First, I'll do the gravity feed. For the gravity feed method, you have to have the plunger in the center of the funnel open. You want to pour a small amount of coolant into the funnel with the plunger open in the center. Check for any leaks. As the coolant warms up, the coolant level inside the funnel is going to rise up. You're going to need something eventually to bail out some of the coolant and put it in a jug to pour back in the radiator later. You'll see a significant increase in the level at the time that the thermostat opens up. And also, you also may hear the cooling fan start. You can see some the bubbling of the air that's trapped in the system coming out. Probably the thermostat is open at this point. Always check the temperature on your dash to make sure that you're not overheating the car, which I don't think will happen unless it's extremely out of coolant. So the gravity feed removes a lot of the air that's trapped in the system. I think the pressure feed method works the best, and I'll show that next. As tempting as it may be, you don't want to rev the engine. It says in the instructions not to rev the engine. There's a possibility of bodily injury by throwing hot coolant all over the work area. What's good about this funnel is that you can push the center plunger down, and then you can just lift the funnel off and put it on top of a bottle, and then pull the plunger up, and the coolant will drain back down into the bottle. Like I said, after the engine cools down, you'll probably have to pour most of it back in, or you can just let it sit on the top of the car in the radiator like that. As the engine cools up, it will naturally pull it back down into the radiator. So to do the pressure testing, you have to push the plunger down in the center of the funnel, and that will force the coolant and air to come up through the little jet in the bottom and come up the tube, and it will come out the top of the plunger. For the pressure bleeding of the cooling system, the setup's the same as the gravity feed, except you have to push the plunger all the way down to seal the system. It's not too bad out today. At least I'm not working out in the freezing cold. I'm using this jar to deflect the coolant that comes out with air. Sometimes the air forces out a lot of coolant and it keeps it from going all over the front of the car. I actually did the pressure feed twice, and the first time when I was pretty sure that all the air was gone, I pushed the plunger down. Well, the plunger's already down, and I picked up the funnel and put it into an empty jug, and then pulled the plunger up and drained it out. And what happened was that the radiator was partially empty, so I actually had to pour that from the jug back in. So I did it again, and actually there was more air. I did the pressure bleeding again, and there was more air in there. And this time I left the funnel in the radiator, and I just let the you know, as what happens is when the engine cools down, the coolant contracts and it causes a vacuum, and it pulls the coolant back in, just like with the overflow bottle. When the engine runs up, it pushes coolant out into the overflow bottle, and then when it cools, it pulls it back in again. And I think that works good. I think that works a lot better. You don't have to end up, of course, it takes a couple hours, you know, so it all depends. I mean, if you want to pour it back in, I don't know.